It's just like
I'll tell you what, Slick. It's hard for me to believe we're already in a new season. I'm still thinking about last year, all the memorable moments that took my breath away. And as an asthmatic, you know I don't joke about that.
Me too, man. Top to bottom, that group was absolutely special.
You should see the emails, the texts, the tweets I've been seeing. It seems like we're stacking wins this year because there is a lot of hype around this group.
You're so right, Maniac. I don't want to get carried away, but people are saying that this roster could even top last year's. And it's not about the personnel, it's about the process.
So come be a part of the process with us October 12th at Shea's Performing Arts Center as 43 North Finals host their year 9 of their competition, giving 5 companies $1 million. Let's go, Buffalo.
welcome everybody to the very first edition of the 2023-2024 season of I'll Hang Up and Listen. As you can see, they're brought to you by 43 North. Originally supposed to be an episode of Two Goalies, One Mic, but with the breaking news, bigger than Connor Bedard's first ever career NHL goal, Owen Power has signed his 7-year extension with the Buffalo Sabres, annual cap of $8.35 million. And we are ecstatic here in the 716, joined by Jonny Lazarus, spelled Jonny, from the Hockey News. Johnny, how are you?
I'm good, and I apologize if I doze over to the TV to the right of me here. I'm watching Bedard play, and got to give a shout out to my boy Max Blitz, very kind enough to let me crash at his house for 3 nights. Fredonia alum, hell of a hockey player, and I'm sure he's going to pop his stupid face in here at some point.
Ask him real quick, was he on the team? I forget the goalie's name, but he went viral for the Ric Flair chant.
Oh, yeah, he was, right?
He was on that team?
I was.
Oh, dude, that was
me on the quad.
He's
Lifelong
actually been
dream.
on the show with us once. I forget his name, though. I apologize.
Nick Harper,
Nick Harper, yes. He was
Yeah.
on the show with us in the early days.
good buddy of mine. He actually was a couple stalls down from me, and I.
Oh, no shit.
Great guy, yeah.
I forgot about that video. That was sick.
So did I. Thanks for reminding me. That was probably the coolest thing I've ever done at Fredonia. Was
You didn't even do it.
no, I was healthy scratch that game actually, so I didn't even contribute to the win.
I love it.
Great guy.
Lazzy, a lot to digest here. Again, as I say, start at the top of the show. Connor Bedard scores his first NHL goal on a wraparound. I haven't even seen it yet.
I mean, it came like seconds after the Sabres announced the Owen Power
Literally.
deal. And some were talking about like what's bigger news. In my opinion, it's Owen Power.
Yeah, I mean, this is a deal that's been getting talked about now for a while. There was speculation it would get announced on the same day as Darlene. Well, days after Darlene. I know Pat Brisson is one of the powerhouse agents in the league. I'm honestly kind of surprised they maybe didn't wait one more year, just because I think he could have got close to what Darlene got if he waited one more year. But props to Kevin Adams for getting him at 8.35 for sure.
Yeah, a lot of like real-time analysis is happening to this deal right now. Dom over at The Athletic, he breaks down the future projections of these types of contracts, and he's saying that Owen Power's current value is about $6 million, and within 2 years, this deal will already be worth it. And in 2 years, Owen Power will be 22. So you got to imagine that the way this deal is going to look is going to get better year by year. He's just finished his first full season in the NHL. He played a few games at the end of his first full season after college. So it's going to look really good. He's a young puck-moving defenseman. Obviously, he can improve defensively a little bit, but that's going to come with time. We talked about this all summer. We basically had nothing to talk about all summer. And what we were alluding to, what was eventually going to happen, was Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power getting those deals that we talked about. And we both even said, like, if neither of them were done after training camp, like, we were going to get worried about like some type of disagreement between the agents and the team or the player or what have you. Dahlin gets his deal done Monday, the Monday before the season. Power gets his deal done the day before the season. And now the Sabres have 2 former number 1 overall picks, likely number 1 defensemen signed on their team for the next 7 years. I honestly can't believe it as a Sabres fan that has gone through the past 14 years for this type of competence to happen within the organization. Obviously, Kevin Adams didn't come in with much experience, but he's proving his worth. year by year as he gains experience as a GM. And it's really remarkable what he's done.
Don't they have that Samuelson locked up for like 7 years too?
Yeah, they signed him before the season last year.
The core, so they have up until 2030 and beyond, they have Samuelson, Dahlin, Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins. Who am I missing? Girls.
Those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. Obviously, they have Skinner, of course.
Skinner, yeah. I mean, he was pre Kevin Adams, but like the core five, the guys that you want locked up long term. I imagine maybe Alex Tuck or Casey Middlestat will probably be next. Definitely Alex Tuck.
Tuck's got a few years left on his deal.
Yeah, but I could see them extending him sooner rather than later.
Sure.
Tuck will retire a Sabre.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. He's done a phenomenal job. I mean, in terms of managing the cap and getting his players and projecting their ceiling before they hit it and getting them at a lower number. Maybe not so much Dahlin, some fans might think, but I personally think that'll be a steal in a couple of years. But Power at 8.35, that kid's probably going to put up, double his point total this year. He, being in a more consistent role on the power play. I mean, he really came into his own at the end of the season last year. And just, a year beyond his rookie year, you saw what Dahlin, had Dahlin not been hampered by coaching, with guys like Ralph Kruger, his point totals would have, skyrocketed after his rookie season, but that didn't happen. In Owen Power's case, I think it's going to. He might double his point total last year. I think it was 35 points. I think I put him around 55 to 65 next season.
More importantly, you know what this does?
What does it do?
Not a lot of free agents want to come sign in Buffalo, right?
Oh no!
This young core is now.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, this young core is now secured. And well, I feel like also when Taylor Hall signed here for that 1 year deal, it was like, oh, like why would he do that? And then obviously that experiment went bad, so it's not a good look on the Sabres. But now, they have this young core intact for the next 5 to 7 years. Like it's an attractive place to come if you're a free agent. So, locking these guys in, it's great for their future, but it's also great for the free agent frenzy that happens every year,
I mean, it says a lot about how these guys feel about being in Buffalo too. Like you heard Rasmus Dahlin say it the other night. Like, I grew up in this city. I was an 18-year-old kid that got drafted here number 1 overall. I obviously didn't have a choice. Same with Owen Power. They both clearly want to be in Buffalo, and that's not something, as you mentioned, Johnny. Like, that's not
I don't want to be in Buffalo.
That's the thing, though. Like, I live in LA, and I want to be in Buffalo. I'm actually coming tonight on a red eye so I can get home for the home opener tomorrow. That's
I've been treated very well here, I will say. I've been treated very well. I've been here for about a week.
I mean, I treated you pretty well Sunday morning, bud.
Yeah.
How about this? If anyone talks shit about Buffalo, they haven't been to Buffalo. Because everybody that's gone to Buffalo realizes how great Buffalo is. And that's not just me being a biased Buffalonian, born and raised there.
It's Miami of the North, dude.
Yeah. The people are nice. The food is amazing. It's cheap. Everything about it. Owen Power is 20 years old. And he just got a $8.37 million contract.
Isn't it 8.35?
Whatever. He's gonna live
we
like
get it.
a king. He's gonna live like a king in the city of Buffalo for the rest of his life. Not the rest of his life, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It just says a lot about the team atmosphere, and these guys are buying in. And as the cap goes up, and as they have the room to make these moves next offseason potentially, the free agent crop is much better than it was this past summer. And they're going to have more ability to sign these guys. So as Johnny said, who knows what's going to happen this season? Obviously, playoffs is the expectation. But next summer could be a massive summer for the Sabres, bringing in these big
Patty Kane.
guys.
Patty Kane.
I mean, Pat Kane could be before the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, also maybe Power and Dahlin can take some of that money and put some goddamn tile down at the Riverworks, huh?
Dude, listen.
I just know how to trigger this guy.
Oh, dude, don't get me wrong. Dude, I almost broke my neck on that floor this weekend.
That's because you can't
I won't get too deep into that, but that's for another episode. I've already talked to a couple guys about doing a Chicklets reaction episode here soon, and I hope you'll come on for that, Lazzy.
Do you want me on for that? Like
100%. Yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of different people from different teams reacting to their weekend at the Chicklets Cup, and I definitely want you part of that for sure.
Sounds good.
I mean, you're a 2-time champ in one year, so guy's a piece of shit.
He had
a phenomenal. You put on a phenomenal performance.
Thanks, Duane.
In both A and B.
Is this roller or
roller?
Yeah, roller.
Awesome.
Yeah, we I thought we were gonna get him in that first round matchup in the prelims. lost to them 5-3. Was the Elbow Room Ringers? You guys were?
Yeah.
Your team, the Elbow Room Ringers.
With the Empty Netters guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I actually play against them out here in LA.
Oh, no way. I love those guys. They're the best.
In my men's league, I played against them the other night. We lost like 4-3, but they're cool dudes.
Is that ice or roller?
Ice. I'm a hockey goalie myself. So.
Nice.
Yeah. Just 5-3 loss, fun game, but we took the L. But yeah, I definitely want you to be a part of that, Laz. But before we get into the matchup for tomorrow night,
Greg just texted me in quotes, I almost broke my neck, and I wrote, yeah, it's because you can't skate.
what did he say?
Greg in quotes said, I almost broke my neck. You didn't hear my response. I said, it's because you can't skate. Shout out Greg Day, Fatty Beer.
Oh, best
hospitality on a Sunday to watch the Bills lose.
Fatty Beer Company, boys, get there. Actually, you're gonna take shots at Buffalo and our hospitality. Listen, when you walked,
I complimented the hospitality.
Listen, when you walked out of Fatty's Beer Company and they gave me the bill, who paid for your mimosa?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Quick interlude. The Leafs are losing to the Canadians 3-0.
That's not a surprise.
That's fantastic. That's good.
Yeah. That's just typical.
Like tier of the news. Owen Power, Bedard. Bedard's first NHL goal. Leafs losing. There we go.
Well, back to Bedard's first NHL goal. Let's talk about this for all the betting people. Bedard's hit his over on shot props back-to-back nights in the first period.
Yeah.
I don't know why that number is 2.5, but
it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that number for the rest of the year, though.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah,
but
I would say nightly it's going to be 4.5.
Yeah, I've jumped on that in the last 2 nights though, and it's hit literally in the first period.
I'm actually going to pull up the Bedard goal right now, if it'll let me.
Honestly, like a lot of guys' first NHL goal, not necessarily something you remember. This is a nice goal. Like he created an opportunity for himself, put a shot on net, got around the net, and wrapped it in. Kid's a stud. He's going to be so good for so long, and I cannot believe the Blackhawks lucked into getting him. But I think we all know why that happened.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Uncle Gare Bear took care of that. I definitely want to pull up that. I'm going to pull it up right now. Share screen with you guys. We're going to get a quick look. This is my first look at the Bedard at the Bedard goal. Let's check it out here. Do.
Now Bedard with a shot, saved by Omar. Coming around is Bedard. He scores.
It's such a goal scorer's goal there. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Yeah, well, the play that like leads into it, his zone entry was like the play that made it. He like catches a pass like kind of in his feet, then there was like a behind the back drop pass. I forget who it was to, maybe to Taylor Hall. Like he created the play from the start. So the fact that he finished it makes it even prettier play,
TNT put up a graphic. It says chasing greatness. Gretzky 894 goals. Bedard 1. So
where's Lafreniere on that list?
He's on his way. Yeah, Lafreniere's not much ahead of Bedard.
All the Ranger fans are like, "Oh my God, Bedard's already better than Lafreniere." Like it's like already starting.
Yeah,
this is what a number one overall pick should look like. Yeah.
See, the thing is, like the Sabres have had. We talked about 2 number 1 overall picks. They kind of lucked out in both of those years, given that like both were like relatively sure things and both like franchise altering defensemen. Like that doesn't come around that often.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I remember like, we weren't even like trying to finish in last like we did in the Eichel McDavid year. Like we weren't even expecting to win that Darlene lottery. I mean, that was, I think we came like 3 or 4 places out of last when we won that one. And then the Owen Power, I think we did finish dead last. But again, that was a year that we weren't necessarily trying to finish in last. That was the year we started the season with Eichel and Taylor Hall.
And Ralph Kruger.
That was the year we were supposed to be contending for the playoffs. Luck may have it. Things worked out the way they have. Roster looks a hell of a lot different now. And, you have 2 first overall franchise defensemen locked up for around $20 million, under $20 million.
Under 19, technically.
Under 19. I always wanted them under 20, but under
No,
19,
a little over 19. Either
a
way.
little over 19. Well, that's still great. Like to have those two guys locked up for under 20 million per year, along with everything else you've done with the cap between Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins, and Matthias Samuelsson. Like you have your core locked up, and you still have money to spend after next season.
I mean, there was a case to be made for taking Matty Beniers with that pick. I think a lot of people at least loved his style of game. Obviously, pretty similar to Dylan Cousins, like a two-way centerman. You at least like had that thought, and Matty Beniers won the Calder Trophy very easily last season. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
But I think a number one overall defenseman, a guy in your blue line that you can plug and play for the next 10 years. Obviously, Beniers is similar, but I'm happy with the pick. I don't think anyone's questioning the pick, but Dahlin was way more of like, this is a generational prospect.
Yeah.
And he started his career relatively slow. Obviously, he was on bad teams and he was playing big minutes as an 18-year-old defenseman. But as we've seen with Don Granato, he's really come into his own offensively and also defensively as well. So, yeah, couldn't be happier.
So, Lazzy, obviously, before the news broke on OM Power, we wanted to bring you on for a quick preview of tomorrow night's matchup where we'll all be in attendance. You in the press box and me and, me and the other pores down in the down in the lower bowl.
100 levels better view than the press box.
Yeah, I would take the 100 level view.
I know. I'm just quoting MJF for all you non-wrestling marks out there.
Island guy.
Huh?
I actually used to go to the same gym as him in high school.
MJF?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love him, man. He's great.
That guy was a meathead. I actually funny enough, I didn't know who he was, but he was just that one big guy at the gym that looked around my age, and he would always grunt, and I was like, this guy is so fucking annoying. But now he's famous. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he likes to refer to everybody who's not him as pores.
Yeah.
So we're the pores, and Jonny Lazarus big time in us up in the press box for the hockey news.
I'm excited for some Lenovo wings and pizza.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, the menu, they announced the menu this year for the Sabres is going to be top of the line compared to what it was, previous years, which was trash.
Compared to what it was is some of the worst food in the entire league. Let's fix the seats. How about that? Or maybe the cracks in the concourses.
Why don't you guys make the playoffs first?
Yeah, let's make the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's been 13 years.
Playoffs.
Yeah, then you'll get the nice stuff.
But Johnny, obviously we're going in tomorrow night. A lot of expectations for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
How high is the pressure for the Rangers this season with expectations from obviously last year, everything you guys did at the deadline, and now you come into this season after, a disappointing postseason. But you still have Igor in that. You still have the bread man. You still have Zibanejad. How high are expectations and how much pressure is there for you as a Rangers fan to, be better this season?
Yeah. So I think the expectations and the pressure, outside the room aren't very high because fans are a little bit low after the way things ended last year. But, inside the room, that team believes they can do it. And they brought in the coach that has, been there before and done it before and believes that this group can do it as well. And, I think the interesting thing is just that this team has so many unknowns, right? There obviously are a lot of things that work. We've seen the Mika Kreider combination work. We've seen Igor Shesterkin win a Vezina. We've seen Fox win a Norris. We've seen Panarin be in the race for MVP. We know that those things are constant, right? But when you give Hedl that second line center role, you give Kakko a first line right wing role, and you give Lafreniere now a second right wing role too, which he hasn't really done before. Those are pretty big roles to fill. And it's an interesting experiment because if it goes poorly, this whole operation could kind of blow up. Where Kakko and Lafreniere don't have long-term deals. Hedl signed a 4-year extension, so he's locked in, but Keandre Miller also has a short-term deal. So this core isn't necessarily intact for a long time like the Sabres are right now. So, I've been saying over the summer that this is somewhat of a trial and error season. I don't think anyone expects the Rangers to win the cup, but, I personally wouldn't be surprised if they do because I think Igor Shesterkin with him in goal, anything's possible. With that said, I'm not picking them to win the Stanley Cup. I think their ceiling this year is to get to the Eastern Conference Final. I don't see them winning the Eastern Conference. I don't think they're the strongest team in the conference, but I think this is a year where you have to figure out what you have And next year, again, like last year, is an all-in season because these guys are getting much older very quickly. As the SDPN podcast put it, Steve Dangle, shout out to those guys. The Rangers went from young and fast to old and slow very quick. So, these things happen like just in the NHL. Like it gets younger, it gets faster every single year, and the Rangers have been caught up to by other teams. So the expectation for the season, I think the first 10 games are going to be tough because 2 out of the first 9 are on the road. So it could be a very ugly start for the Rangers. But then again, back in 2014, when Alain Vigneault was the coach, it was his first year. They struggled in the preseason. They had a bad start, but they figured it out as the year went on. And they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. So right now, that's kind of like on par, I guess, with how that year went. So you never know with hockey, right? Like goalies get hot, players, get on hot streaks as well. And, you just kind of have the vibe in the room. So right now the vibes are high, and we'll see how they start tomorrow night against the Sabres.
Yep. And one guy I love, obviously you mentioned his name is K'Andre Miller.
Oh yeah.
Such a hard nose and offensively gifted defenseman. Just, we talked about Dahlin a lot last night on episode 141 with Matthew Fairburn. We mentioned how hard Dahlin has gotten to play against since his rookie season. The same could be said about K'Andre Miller. Like forwards don't like going one-on-one with a guy like that. He's going to make you earn it. And you go to the front of the net, he's going to make you pay. I love watching K'Andre. He's just a phenomenal defenseman.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know if you guys will like this bet or not, but I made a bet with Grinnell from Chicklets that K'Andre Miller has more points than Hampus Lindholm this year.
I can see
It's funny you say that because I drafted both of them to be on my fantasy
Really?
team two nights ago as like my final 2 defensemen. I have Carlson, Bouchard, Lindholm, and K'Andre Miller as my 4 defensemen, which I'm happy with.
Yeah.
But I would take that bet. I took K'Andre Miller because of his upside.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he can hit and he blocks shots. So from a fantasy perspective, obviously, I think he's going to be pretty good. But like me and Duane talked about it earlier this offseason, like he was a restricted free agent. I would have loved Kevin Adams to throw an offer sheet at him. Offer sheets don't really happen in the NHL anymore. There seems to be like an unwritten agreement between GMs to just like not do it for some reason. But given his age, given his ability and his ceiling, I feel like he could be a top 15, 20 defenseman in the league easily.
I mean, he has that trajectory to, I wouldn't compare him to like a Victor Hedman, but he's got that size and that reach. I think, I don't want to say he's a better skater right now, but I think that his potential is to be a better skater than Hedman is. Even though Hedman is a phenomenal skater, I think K'Andre has a little more power to him. But yeah, I mean, K'Andre Miller has been insanely impressive. He's, progressed every single season. He more than doubled his points last year. He got 43 points last year, only 3 on the power play. So, this kid's producing at even strength, shorthanded. He does it all.
You mentioned the Rangers ceiling. I'm interested to hear this from like an outside of Buffalo perspective, like not from a Sabres fan. Like, what do you think the Sabres ceiling is? Like, I think all of us would obviously be happy with any playoff spot whatsoever. And we think that the wild card is like very, very attainable. But we even talked with Fairburn last night, like 2nd or 3rd in the Atlantic doesn't feel out of the question given all of the question marks in the division. Obviously with Boston, with Tampa Bay, who knows with Florida, it seems like you can get any version of them on any given night, and they just got hot in the playoffs. Like from an objective outside of Buffalo perspective, like where do you think this team could actually go?
Well, it's funny because I got a lot of shit last year because I said the Sabres were making it last year.
They missed it by a point.
Yeah. I really thought I was going to look smart. I tweeted it out in like December because I watched a lot of Sabres games just because they're so fun to watch. And I actually kind of know Tage a little bit just from growing up. He skated in Long Island a lot as a kid, so we skated in the summers together. I thought last year they were on a heater. I really thought they were going to. Yeah, that Buffalo game or the Boston game in Boston, I think they won in overtime.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this team is poised to do it. Like they're going to get in. Not to make myself sound smarter than I am, but I last year I was like, this team's fucking sick. Sorry, I don't know if I can curse. So ceiling this year, I think 2nd in the Atlantic is a stretch, but 3rd is definitely in reach. Wild card is for sure in reach. My Atlantic prediction was very interesting this year because my 4 Atlantic teams in the playoffs are Toronto, Boston, Buffalo, and Ottawa. I had the Panthers and the Lightning after Vasilevsky's announcement, missing the playoffs this year. So the Atlantic to me is, fully up for grabs. So I think Buffalo can do it, and I'm obviously very high on Devin Levi too. He's my pick for Rookie of the Year. So I'm all on board for the Buffalo train.
I mean, and it feels like very determinant on Devin Levi, right? And obviously the defense improving around him. And me and Duane talk about it all the time. There was a lot of puck watching last year. And the Sabres, they had 2 stretches. I think one was in November and one was in March, where I think they lost 8 straight games in November after a relatively strong start. And then they won 1 of 9 in March. And then eventually they kind of got on a heater late in the year and made a push. But that was with Devin Levi.
Yeah.
And for the most part, Craig Anderson was the best goalie on the Sabres, and he is double Devin Levi's age. So a lot depends on him, of course. But at the end of the day, team defense is going to help that situation.
And
Levi, sorry.
No. I think you could even say that, had Devin started his career 1 week earlier, I mean, to your point, they're in the playoffs. The way he played there at the end. So I think you are smart when you made that prediction in December, because they were the most exciting, at least offensively, team in the league at the time. They were just explosive. That Tage Skinner Tuck line was and probably still will be unstoppable. Now we're adding little, firecracker Zach Benson to the mix.
That kid's awesome.
I can't wait to watch what he does wherever he plays in this lineup. I'm sure he'll get some power play time. But to your point, Devin Levi, I genuinely think he is going to, make some noise for that Rookie of the Year conversation. I really do. Bedard is everybody's shooing for the winner, but I don't think Levi has to put up eye-popping numbers to win it, like a high 920 save percentage or a low 200 goals against average. But if he gets the wins and he gets this team to the playoffs, he's absolutely in that conversation.
I don't feel as good about the Calder prediction. I did the same. Of course, a little bit biased, but I don't feel as good about that as I did yesterday afternoon before watching Bedard in regular season games against really good NHL teams. The kid is insane, and he's probably going to put up 80 to 90 points this season. We're already talking about his shot prop probably going up two shots a game, 2 games into his first 2 games into his NHL career. And the NHL is going to want him to win the Calder.
Yeah.
So Devin Levi is obviously facing an uphill battle from that perspective. But as we talked about last night, he does not care about stats. He can let in 6 goals a game. And if this team is winning games, obviously that's all that matters. He's not going to let in 6 goals a game. I think
Do you think Bedard looks at his shot props before the game?
No, dude. No.
I'm just joking.
He probably doesn't even have social media, that kid.
He's like, yeah, I got this.
I actually just pulled up a tweet from when I covered the Ranger Sabres game in April last year, April 10th. And it was a shootout, 5-round shootout. Devin Levi stopped Patrick Kane, then Mika Zibanejad, then Artemi Panarin. Tarasenko scored, but then he stopped Kakko, and the Sabres won the shootout.
Yep.
I mean,
I remember that. Was it Panarin where he waited him out?
Probably that's his move. Yeah, that's his move.
I mean, even Patrick Kane, one of the best shootout performers ever, he waited him out. His lower half is so quick. Obviously, he's very good at breakaways because of his athleticism and his ability to get anywhere down low. You saw it in the Beanpot against Coronado. The game-winning save he had. Was that? I guess it was in the Beanpot, right? He saved.
Against Harvard. Yeah.
Yeah. Who looks like he's going to make the Panthers this year, I think.
Austin Matthews just tied it up 2-2. I guess there was a goal challenge.
Yeah, they challenged the offside. So they're back. But long story short, I guess tomorrow night, his debut was against the Rangers. He had the shootout. He's 2-0 in his career against the Rangers, and he's played 7 games. So going into tomorrow night at home opener, there's going to be, I imagine there's going to be some type of ceremony for Rick Jeanneret. They're putting a patch on the jersey. It's going to be an emotional night. The building is going to be full. What bigger stage could you ask for a kid like that in his first full season in the NHL? So I'm wondering who the backup's going to be. I guess that doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, it's going to be a game. Do we know the over/under for tomorrow? I think it's 6, right?
Probably 6. I can look right now. I don't know if it's up yet. I don't think it's up yet. Oh, wait, no. Here you go. 6.5.
We
That
did this,
screams first period under though.
Yeah, I think it does for sure.
Screams.
we did this last night. We'll ask you. The Vegas line for Buffalo this year is 92.5 points. We both went over. You're taking the over.
I'd say like 96, 97.
They had 91 last season. With
You
two
need a
firsts.
lot of points to make the playoffs now. So like,
I mean, the
teams
Panthers
used to get in with like 88 points.
The Panthers got the last wild card spot last year with 92. Sabres had 91.
Yeah.
So, like we talked about, if Devin Levi ends his college season a week earlier, Sabres probably get 95 points.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not an indictment against, Craig Anderson, who was probably would have been your go-to in that stretch if it weren't for Devin Levi. But like, you can't help that your 40-year-old goalie can only play like one game a week. Like, you just can't do those back-to-backs or 3 and 4 nights or 2 and 3 nights. Just can't. But
how many games does Shesterkin start this season? Does he get 65? Is he normally 65?
Huh? Sorry.
How many games does Shesterkin start this season?
65, you said?
Is he normally over 70?
No. That doesn't happen anymore. Nobody. I don't think any NHL goalie plays more than like 57 now.
Okay. I thought he would be the one to do it, but I guess that's crazy.
Yeah, no, he'll play like the 53 to 57 range probably.
I have Levi starting over 50 personally because I just don't think there's still just a giant question mark in the backup role in Buffalo between Eric Comrie and UPL. So I think they're going to really lean heavily on Levi and see, even at that young age, we've spoken to him personally, and he's a guy who is just in terms of the way he takes care of his body, he's a maniac. He doesn't put garbage in his body. He's constantly stretching, constantly working off the ice. So if there's a kid out of college that can do it, it might be him. But yeah, I have him probably right around, the 48 to 54, 55 game start of this year in his rookie year, which, I mean, again, you probably need him to win 35 of those starts.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we talked like Eric Comrie. I think he could be good. Who knows? Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Who knows where his career is going to go? I think we all thought like he could be something, but at the same time, the consistency hasn't been there. And he also had double hip surgery. That's hard to come back from. So, yeah, I don't know. I would love it to be in the 40-45 range. I don't want to put too much on him too quickly because he is 21 years old, and this is his first full NHL season. If Comrie can step up, if they make a trade or what have you. But yeah, I mean, I think he starts the season. They have 4 of their first 5 games at home, and then they see where they go.
Yeah. I know you got to get out of here, Lazzy. And of course,
got some wings that are getting cold.
No, I got you, bud. I got you. But real quick, score predictions for tomorrow night, and then we'll get rolling.
I think it'll be a tight game. I think overtime. I think 3-2 Buffalo in overtime.
Woohoo, you're not picking your Rangers on opening night?
That's amazing because I tweeted out yesterday 3-2 Buffalo in overtime.
Actually?
I really did.
Oh, shit.
And I think you picked Casey as the game winner.
And then Skinner. And I said
Skinner, okay.
a Benson assist to Skinner winner.
Wait, so Connor, what's your Twitter?
I'll send it to you, or I'll follow you.
See Hurls 13.
So
yeah, that's me.
This is so cute.
This is great.
I gotta find that tweet.
I will send it to you.
Yeah.
So I have it 4-3. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 3-1 Buffalo. Won't be in overtime with goals coming from Tuck, Tage, and probably going to go Casey Middlestat for the game winner.
So, Middlestat mode.
But Lazzy, thanks for hopping on with us, boys. I know this is kind of an impromptu. It was supposed to be more, geared towards, the game itself, but nobody really expected us to get that bomb dropped on us shortly before. So thanks for hanging in there with us, Lazzy.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to enjoy some wing nuts and watch Connor Bedard, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night at KeyBank.
All right, buddy. See you tomorrow night. This has been I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by 43 North and Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case on Georgian Boulevard. Hurls, I am Duane. We will talk to you tomorrow night.